Most Worshipful Grand Master, Right Worshipful Deputy Grand Master, distinguishees, and my brethren-all, good evening.
Good evening.
I am John M. Colligas, and I want to be your Grand Secretary. Please read my Masonic bio and statement, which is contained in the spring issue of the New Jersey Freemason. Brethren, here we are again 1 year later, and none of the issues I spoke to you about last year have been fixed. As of December 31st, the Grand Secretary's office was 4 years behind in issuing our Grand Lodge proceedings. But you say, our Constitution clearly states that they are to be published and distributed to the lodges no later than December 15th following the annual communication. How can this be, you ask? Why has nothing happened? Speaking of happenings, what happened to the program for digitizing the proceedings for which every member was assessed an additional amount of 50 cents for 2 years? This is about $20,000. I ask, what happened? And while we're at it, what happened to the copies of the adopted legislation that our Constitution mandates to be put in our lodge's Book of Constitutions by January 1st of the subsequent year? This also has not been done since 2013. Most Worshipful Brother Ray Bellini, Grand Secretary Emeritus, never had a problem with these two matters. Neither did his predecessors, and they did it all without computers. 4 years ago, at the September 2012 Emergent Communication, you approved adoption of the Maury program to replace Lodge Pro Secretaries program. We were assured that our Lodge Secretaries would have online reporting program that would make their jobs easier and provide more accurate records. Several Lodge Secretaries have told me that the Maury system has been discontinued and that a move toward the Lodge Pro Secretaries program is being investigated. No one will say, what is the status of the Lodge Pro system? I do not know, do you? Brethren, the prime responsibility of your Grand Secretary is to ensure our Grand Lodge office fulfills its constitutional mandates effectively and efficiently. Nothing else matters. I was my Lodge Secretary for 10 years and have been a member of the Commission on Information for Recognition of the Conference of Grand Masters of Masons in North America since 2010. I understand the needs of our Lodge Secretaries and how to communicate with other jurisdictions throughout the world. Since 1866, our fraternity has been a New Jersey corporation. Our Constitution and bylaws were, and until recently, had been its supreme and sole governing rules and regulations. With this in mind, I, together with 5 additional past Grand Masters, had signed and submitted to the Grand Secretary new legislation to formalize the Constitution's supremacy at our forthcoming 2016 annual communication. It was ruled out of order by the Constitution and Laws Committee because it would violate the constitutional provision of Article 3 of the Grand Lodge Constitution. Since a bylaw cannot supersede a constitutional provision, the signers revised and resubmitted it. It was rejected again for not being in time, even though a deadline for submission was not published. It was stated that it would be held over until next year. Do you think it will be printed in the Freemason next year, so you'll finally vote on it? As your Grand Secretary, I will not let this fall through the cracks. My brothers, I stand by our Constitution and bylaws. Do you? I am deeply concerned about the future of our Grand Lodge. We cannot allow these matters to be ignored any longer. As your Grand Secretary, I will get to the bottom of these problems. I will not just sit on them. So when you are standing in that voting booth as a dues-paying member of this limited liability corporation, and if you are truly concerned about the future of our Grand Lodge, are you going to vote for me, or are you going to settle for another year of the same old, same old? As your Grand Secretary, I will keep you informed one way or another. I will get the job done. Thank you.